response video to Pizza Boy. I guess we'll start a debate page on this, with him. He'll be one of the regulars, no doubt, whether he responds or not. So anyway, he's asked the question posed, why are teachers and journalists liberal? And in his video, of course, he has to keep saying ultra-liberal. Obama's an ultra-liberal, the millionaire Obama, who is radically changing nothing substantially. It's basically just following the Clinton pattern of don't ask, don't tell, don't touch, don't make, don't do, don't, I mean, it's pretty, if that's the definition of ultra-liberal, it's a silly definition. So anyway, in his video, he basically he just keeps using the ultra-liberal term, and the suggestion, the rhetorical question is, it's basically, why are educated people intelligent? I mean, you might as well ask that question. Why do people have a general education, a liberal arts education, one where you actually read literature and understand social science type subjects, and aren't specifically geared to one subject? Why would such people have progressive ideas and be open-minded thinkers and challenge the system, be skeptical, be capable of imagining betters, improvements? I guess the obvious answer is because that's what logic would dictate. We lived for centuries in closed worlds where you couldn't even look up at the sky and speculate about what things might be doing, for fear that the oppressive religious dogma was going to squash you like a bug. And so we've been working our way out of that dogma over the last few centuries, and we're there now. So yeah, teachers are generally going to be progressive, because it's the only logical thing to be. Dogma is stupid. We know that now, as people are freed from the Stepford wife type of life where you just do as everyone else does, and we now challenge, we now look at the stars, we now look at each other, and we ask questions. How does that really work? We don't read it from a 2,000-year-old book anymore. What is a human being? We don't look at a book that's 2,000 years old to figure that out anymore. We look at the facts and put them together and mix them up and shake them up and try to find something that makes sense out of all of that. So anyway, Pizza Boy's obvious. It's just anything that isn't far-right conservatism is ultra-liberal, and he'll give, he won't concede that there's a whole bunch of policies, a whole bunch of specific policies that people might say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no to. And that it doesn't matter if they say yes to anything that challenges some sort of dog-eat-dog Darwinian free market, except for, of course, the parts of the the regulated market that protect the capitalist and the richest people in the world. Except for that regulation, yeah, you're a socialist, a communist, a Marxist. It's just so. It's so juvenile. I mean, who are you talking to? You really believe that the audience listening to these videos is likely to be as stupid as you think it is? That they're going to be impressed by that propaganda tone, that ultra-liberal nonsense you keep spouting? It's just so stupid. So I mean, in your video, you basically answered your own question. Yes, teachers have, generally speaking, it's not where you go to get rich. So obviously, you have to have a bit of a humanitarian bent in your psychology to choose to be a teacher. As for journalists, it's probably a similar circumstance in that you have to have some sort of showbiz ambition, and some, not necessarily, I don't know what the right word would be, social science. It's performance art. It's a lot of things. But there's journalism that starts off as writing and argument, lawyering almost. And yeah, if you're going to be in that profession, you're not going to make a lot of money, generally speaking. It's all the money's at the top. It's starving artist syndrome. So yeah, if you're a bloodthirsty capitalist, it's probably not going to be your choice. It's probably not going to be your deliberate decision. So yeah, you're going to tend to be somebody exploitable and abusable, because you'll do it for your art or for your opportunity to make your argument or take your chance or have your opportunity to test yourself even. And those are all those are the ambitions of people that would get into such professions. And in the past, it was a different world. You didn't have to give a damn. You just had a profession. Sometimes you fell into it because that's what your parents did. There's a lot of reasons why there was a change, but the biggest reason is because the whole atmosphere of discussion changed. The whole atmosphere of politics changed. More things could be discussed. More things were put on the table as issues. But yeah, you really can't read Dickens and Shakespeare and the rest of that stuff without having some capacity to step past being a stagnant, dull, dogmatic human being, and that's all you are. Your free market is a religion. That's all it is. You're just talking a dogma. It's not a practical reality. It doesn't exist as a reality. What the real argument is about is what regulation should exist, what attempts to, you even said the word, markets aren't about being fair. Well, I'll play the last minute of your clip and then respond to that. But that was sort of telling, because I think any rationally, any informed and intelligent individual is going to try to say, well, let's try to make it fair. Fairness is our objective. We're not held to some obligation to be unfair. That's stupid. So we'll play a little bit of his video, just the last minute or two.
Be caretakers, to be nurturers, to in some ways be nannies. So this may go a long way to explaining why they're ultra-liberal or liberal or far left or whatever you want to call it, Marxist.
Yeah, it's a Marxist. I mean, you just can't be rational about this. No, what they are is, they want a regulated incentive economics. There's lots of ways. They want to regulate systems to make them function optimally. They want to engineer them, you could even argue. But it's just kind of stupid to say that if you're either one of you or you're one of them. But there's absolutely nothing in between. Everything's them, ultra them. I mean, it's just so insulting to intelligence.
Socialists. And why they believe in big government in the nanny state, right? It's sort of the nurturing, caretaking, nanny part of their psychological or personality profile. It's what they do for a living.
Yeah, some of that's a valid argument, but it's empty just because you could find these ultra liberals. You could take these people and you could inquire what policy decisions do they support, which do they not support, and there'll be plenty of them. They'll say, yes, I think that's a good idea. No, I don't think that's a great idea. But no, some of these institutions have changed, and there's all kinds of corruptions in this nanny state you speak of, because these socialists do like to have their little ownership of government, their own little political union that takes care of them. They sort of nanny these kids.
So it's part of the whole psychology of the thing to want a big government nanny state and government-run healthcare and government-run industry and government-run economy and government this and to take care of everybody. And
yeah, well, again, you can say run or you could be fair and say regulated, but you won't be fair because you're not intending to have an intelligent argument. You're just intending to be a propagandist about it. And so you use this extreme rhetoric that just has nothing to do with the reality. It's not about the government running things. It's about the government setting rules and creating umpires and creating a game, okay, that makes sense, that has some sort of continuity and intelligence about it.
And just to be of that sort of mindset. And to be against free markets. Free markets aren't nannies. Yeah.
Well, why do you even say free markets with a plural when you're not? That implies that they're different markets and that some are free and that some shouldn't be free or some other kind of bullshit. Why don't you just say a free market? And everything has to be thrown into that free market. And but that's not what you say. And again, what meaning does free market have when there are instruments created already that exist even in your free market that you probably accept that break the freeness?
No, that's not what the free market system is. It's not about being a nanny and being nurturing and taking care of everyone, being fair and making sure everybody's.
Yeah, well, that's the key word. And being fair. What's the liability of fairness? Sorry, that you're not going to sell that one to anybody. I mean, maybe with a brain. How is attempting to be fair a liability? How is that something derogatory? Something you can point to and scorn and say, "Ooh, they want to be fair." I mean, you sort of stepped in it there, didn't you? I mean, I don't think you can. I don't. There's no way you can work with that word "fair" as a stupid thing to be. It's any. I guess it's just the natural, rational ambition of anything intelligent enough to understand that this is a game where there's other people involved, and that cheating sucks, and that cheating is the opposite of fair.
Got coverage, healthcare coverage or whatever the thing is, and everything's fair and everyone's paid equally. That is not, that's a nanny idea, not a free market idea.
I don't think anybody's really arguing, all these ultra-liberals, I don't think they're arguing everybody be paid equally. They argue that people should be paid proportionately. Is that a word that scares you? Is that a concept that scares you? That shouldn't be about things like birthright. That certain people from certain positions in society shouldn't have, safety nets under them, and the capacity to play all kinds of games to game the system from a perspective and that they didn't earn, from a point of view they didn't earn, from an advantage they didn't earn. So whatever. I mean, it's just you're gonna obviously it's your intention to bend everything into some sort of look. The commies are coming, and that's whatever. What's going on in your psychology? It just amazes me that you're even in an institution of learning, and can be so insulting to the concept by using the rhetoric you used. I mean, if every progressive pointed to everything and just, with the same sort of labels, ultra wacko conservative, ultra religious fascist, over every single policy, you'd sit there and say, well, that's just a cheat, a grotesque manipulation, a perversion of the truth. Should we just call you all insensitive and no, not even insensitive, sadistic, that you gain pleasure from watching human beings get ground up by the capitalist system? Shall I assume that that's your objective, that you really don't even care about the economics of it or the principles? All you care about is watching people get sucked up by the system and used up and squashed like a bug, and that it satisfies you in some kind of sick, perverse way? That would be a pretty lame argument. No, you're just stupid. You're ill-informed. You've got some sort of prejudice and preferences built into your heads, and you've got some sort of notion because you've created an icon of something, and you're just going to chase the icon. And anything that's against the dogma that supports the icon is a threat to you. But really, if you have any intelligence, ideas aren't a threat. The argument's not a threat. You're the one that has to make the counter-argument against being progressive in how you think about system design. That it just doesn't come out of the box finished. We already see that in how the whole history of life on Earth, that reasonable and productive social systems didn't just pop out of the nature box. All right, they have to be refined to create anything called civilization. Idiot. So enough. I have to turn the camera off. I turned the window off, but I didn't turn the camera off. So anyway, it's just the response to his nonsense. 14 minutes, that's not too outrageous. Sorry, a little bit. Got a little allergy thing going. So, till next time. the next wacko pizza boy video. No matter what subject it is, it'll be the same subject. It's always the same subject. He just veils it in some other thing. Like he'll be talking about bottled water, and somehow he'll turn that into the commies are coming.